What's going on, y'all? It's Jay Small Reviews here, back at it again with another video. In prep for Summer Madness coming up, I am starting my Summer Madness content with this video. And this new series that I brought, I'm very excited for. And this, as you can see, is the Rocs Summer Madness Battle Record. Now, I said it from the beginning of my channel, I think battle records are a great concept, going over win-loss, even though there's a lot of subjectivity, and I'll go over that a little bit for this video, how we're scoring that. But even though there's a lot of subjectivity, I love, the wins and losses part. I love the sport aspect of battle rap. I love the art form perspective of viewing it as well. But viewing it as a sport means obviously fun, root for our favorites to win or lose. And for this, obviously, while I wanted to start with full-on battle records, we're talking about top tiers that 20 to 30 battles. In some cases for active guys, we're talking 40 to 50, maybe even more. And it is a lot. I'm not quite there recording-wise to even put together a video of that magnitude that runs multi-hours. So we're starting here with some of the guys that are going to get announced for SM. They're going to get an SM battle record where I go over their resume just through their Summer Madness resume and give them a record based on that. Now, as for Roc, we're going to go over some clear wins and clear losses. So obviously those are going to get filed. But as for battles that are debatable, classics, overall just close debatable battles, I'm still going to factor in a score for it. It's going to have a basic, this isn't the number, but 7 and 2 or 6 and 5. There will be no debatable slot or tie or classic slot. I'm just going to have my wins column, my losses column. So if it's debatable, I'll let you guys know early whether I think it's a clear result or a debatable result. And it's still my opinion at the end of the day. Either way, battle rap is that subjective where I can say it's clear and someone's going to say it's not clear, even if it is. But anyways, here we have 6 battles to go over. I'm not going to be counting the Summer Impact battle versus Loaded Hollows just because 2-on-2s, I've been pretty open about that here. I just personally don't count them the same way and hold the weight that I do in a 1v1 battle. But without further ado, guys, let's get right into the Rocs Summer Madness battle record. So, obviously, we're going to start with Roc's first SM appearance, and that would be Summer Madness 3 versus Ill Will. And for battles that are like this, and for those of you, obviously, this is an extremely famous battle, most people know. For battles that are this clear, I am not going to give them this same amount of breakdown as I am for others. I am big on bar for bar and round for round in this channel, but when we go over a lot of battles like this, we kind of have to get through them a little quicker, so I'm not going to have my notes bars per round, but I am going to talk about some of the highlights here. And one thing that does get confused in history throughout this battle is this was not a 30. In the first round of this battle, obviously Roc and Ill Will, both upcoming young prospects at the time. Roc had been around a little bit longer, but both were on the upscale. Neither of them were fully proven yet. And the first round, Ill Will actually takes it relatively clear. That's when he has the Magnum catch kids when I bust, tucking under the shirt like hot sauce at a Rutgers game. So the Magnum line is actually in the second round, but in the first round he does have the hot sauce under the shirt like a Rutgers game, which is a stick out haymaker there. But he brings a lot of energy, some jokes, and he actually kind of takes the first clear for Roc. So I had Will up 1-0, but we all know this is one of the better Roc performances all time, and it all starts at the second round. You could say that this might be the birth of second round Roc. And we all know the way, since he's from Yak Town, all of his town pouring out yak for him. He won't remember around all young Ill Will, and then obviously the humongous, the iconic Emmett Till line that he has in his second round.
Chill, Will. If I'm still Will to still Will, headshots, he won't remember around. Our young Ill Will, I let the crowd choose how you get it. When I kill Will, should I give him a Smith like Emmett or Emmett Till Will?
Extremely impactful haymaker, and he took that second, swooped it in the building and into the third round. While it's not as crazy and iconic as his second, it is more the same. Not as many iconic haymakers, but he just kind of punches Will's lights out, and Will doesn't really recover from the second and ends up, it's more about him having a bland third and Roc having a pretty good third to follow up a career high second. So to start out on SM3, Roc was 1-0 on Summer Madness with a 2-1 victory in the second and third clear versus Ill Will. Then we'll get into the second appearance. So after getting a pretty dominant victory, he's able to come back the next year on Summer Madness 4 and versus DNA. So what you're going to notice here with Roc, a lot of great comp from top to bottom, even from the early matchups. And versus DNA, this is a battle that is also has a pretty clear result here. And both of these battles factor into that original Roc run that people talk about. That cemented him as probably one of the best battle rappers of all time. Said it a few times, but in my opinion, the best battle rapper of all time is the work ethic he gave starting from about SM3 till we get down here to about really SM8, SM9. But versus DNA, pretty clear and dominant win. He takes the first and third clearly. And one part of this that I will say, the gas in the building was a little bit crazy. Roc was saying, "Roc is wild. I'll shot up a building and hope I shot a child." And the crowd started melting. So there's little instances of that where clearly they are there to see Roc. But with that being said, DNA handled it very poorly, telling Conceit of it, they don't cheer for that, there's nothing I can do for him. And while I do think DNA's second is really good, I think the second is almost debatable, or could be debated as a debatable round. That's when he has the round 2 scheme, and I think while the crowd was against DNA, his actual material in the second is the best that he has in the battle. But even then, Roc matches it with energy. It's easier to be confident when the crowd's behind you like that. And to flip the get him the fuck out of here and do the smack impression in the first round.
How dare you diss my nigga saying, get smacked the fuck out of here. If I was smacked, I would have stepped back like, you ain't getting paid your upper half, son. Get your ass the fuck out of here.
Come back in the third round while DNA is defeated and just land a couple more punches, just keep the avalanche coming. I think many people look at this as a 30 win for Roc. It definitely can be debated. I do have him Roc 3-0. Like I said, though, I think the second is a little closer than people think. I think that round can be debated, but it looks like to start off here, Roc was able to catch 2 clear W's on SM3 versus Will and SM4 versus DNA to be 2-0 on Summer Madness. So after this 2-0 start, we get into easily the best comp that he had up to this point. And on SM5, the third straight SM, and Roc's, when Roc was on every gnome and SM in a row for a while. So on his third consecutive SM, Roc would go against Calico on Summer Madness 5. And this battle is a classic. One of my personal favorite battles of all time. I believe it is one of the best Summer Madness battles of all time. I have it in the top 3 if on that list, but we will get into that around in a little bit when that video comes out. But there is a lot of great things about this battle. Now, the thing is, it is an extreme style clash. And Cal tends to create that, as Cal is a real talk. We all know storytelling, really real talk based rapper. I wouldn't even necessarily say angling, even though that is very much so in his wheelhouse. But especially in this battle, what you see is a Calico that speaks really on himself. Not a lot of double entendres, but really purely street talk and real talk, and is able to pit that against a very aggressive, gun bar heavy, performance based Roc. And what you get is your traditional battle rap, dope lines, double entendres, aggression, versus a more strategic real talk approach, kind of really trying to bog down Roc. And what you get here is a great battle where in the first round, Calico takes it clear. The key bar being Bruce Wayne, bow, bow, I got him flying through the cave. Fire, whole way that he approaches Roc, moving around the stage a little bit. It's a way that Roc hadn't quite been attacked before, and while Roc's first is decent, I believe this is the DESK. You want to learn a lesson. I believe that was in his first. But I know Roc's first was decent, and Cal was just able to win the first clear. And then it's the reverse in the second. Roc comes back. I'm not Pat Stay. Very fire, and has another patented Roc second round. The breakfast scheme, which at the time even was a little overdone then, but still okay. One of the better breakfast schemes of all time, and that's a scheme that's been done a lot. And then if I catch your aunt, you ever heard of antonyms and synonyms? Well, I'll catch your aunt in them.
Think he tough because he bullied a white boy that eats steroids like they M&Ms? Hey, you know about antonyms and synonyms? Well, if I catch your antonym, guess what I'm sending them? Shit like that,
Incredible bar. My personal favorite bar of the battle from Roc. So Roc got the second clear. So this was 1-1 clear. Very, very dope rounds from both going into the third. And that's why I say this is a preference classic, because the third is a little different, where you got a Roc that takes a bit of a real talk approach. a little bit with the bars, while Cal obviously takes the straight real talk approach. It's so in a sense, when you get to the third round, they're actually doing a lot of the similar stuff, but it comes down to also whose delivery you like more. Neither of them clearly snatched the third round here. Rock obviously, like I said, does some real talk, talking about himself, the real things that he's been through. He is a Celsius Fahrenheit bar that hit pretty good in the building. And, it might have, it's around where his first round where it's just okay, but Cal doesn't blow him out with a first round like he has. But I really do like Cal's real talk in the third. I hope he love his kids because he up here talking like he don't love to live. My personal favorite bar from Cal in the third round. He had the death trap bar, which did get booed a little bit, but he was able to, not booed, a little bit of restlessness in the crowd, probably on the edge of getting booed, but he was able to bring it back. And for me, just the way he broke it down, and especially getting into Tay-Rock being under Mook, kind of addressing the dot mob joining clicks angle, I just happen to edge Cal the third round. Not a clear loss for either. When you have a classic of this variety, it really is more of a W effect for Rock than it is a L. But like I said, I'm going to choose winners on these battles, and I just personally edge Cal a little in the third, giving it to Cal clear in the first, and then by an edge in the third, 2-1 Cal, which leaves Rock at 2-1 on Summer Madness up to this point. So, as we pivot away from the Cal battle, we go into SM6. So, Rock's fourth consecutive Summer Madness in a row at this point. And while Cal is steady competition, he follows it up with another God tier level opponent. And on SM6, he had the biggest battle of his career yet versus Hollow Didon. Another battle similar to Cal that people consider a classic battle. And another style clash-esque battle with Cal is the real talk versus the gun bars. And here you have the gun bars versus the very unorthodox style that Hollow brings. You really can't box him into one thing. He just does a lot of different things, and depending on the battle, his approach can be completely different. And I'm going to work backwards with this one just because similar to the Cal battle is the first and second split clear, and then the third is debatable. And here you have the second and third split clear with the first being debatable. And to get off, once again, Rock's second rounds are just around this time. There's a reason he was called the king of the second rounds, and this day is recognized for that still. His second round versus Hollow is insane. When Hollow in the box, it is not empty. Do not tempt me. I would have knocked that Luigi mustache off. A little bit of angle punching there. And then obviously goes without saying the seatbelt bar.
I want some other stuff. I'm known for these gun rounds, but I'll put these guns down and fuck you up if I don't knock you out when we knuckle up. Then the razor come out. When I swing it, you get your uppercut. I grab you by your neck. You get another cut and another cut. It look like the seatbelt won't work and I'm trying to buckle up.
Is the bar of the battle, pretty much the bar of the year, and possibly the best bar of Tay-Rock's career. Very, very, very clearly takes the second from Hollow. And on the flip side, even though Rock has a decent third, the Queen's Flip serial line, which was good, the Hollow has a very tailored third. Talking about, you ever pulled up with a gun and shot the fair one? I like that little bit of real talk there. The remote, sometimes you got to get up to change it. Talk about changing your life. I actually really like Hollow's third. So Hollow gets the third and Rock gets the second. So it comes down to the first. And I, for one, believe that Tay-Rock kind of clearly got the first round, or at least very comfortably, in my personal opinion. I know that amongst these fan bases, there's a lot of debate, but Rock has the D, E, and the AR at the top like a love letter. I like that a lot. Ariana Grande hit the Manchester and the spot blow up. And obviously ended off with his biggest haymaker of the first round, something fly near his ear. Like, what the fuck was that? So I love the highlights. And in between, there's little punches, the oxtail punch, just little stuff that keeps it together. And on the flip side, while Hollow has some top peaks to match, the artifacts line, using the angle to break down how Rock took a little bit of Briz and Shoe style, which I thought he was a little long-winded with the angle, but ends it with the artifacts bar, which was good. The 2K fatigue off, I want to see the same energy, was also fire. But he has some extreme dry spots in here where there's just some fluid wrapping, some bars that got a little bit of reaction that I'm just not that big of a fan of. Obviously, the infamous cap toss, and there's a second cap. I just think that Rock outwrote Hollow pretty pretty well in the first round. I was confident that I thought he brought better energy than Hollow, and while Hollow wrapped, I would say, about double Roc's time, I still walked away with Roc feeling like he had the higher peaks and the more consistent rounds. So pretty comfortably, I had Roc taking this battle 2-1, second clear, and first pretty clear to me. In another classic battle, which at this point leaves Roc's Summer Madness resume post SM6 at 3-1. Now, coming off the heels of a career-defining win, in my opinion, but overall is always considered a career-defining battle versus Hollow, we go on to his 5th consecutive SM. Incredible. And this time versus another god-tier level opponent in Hitman Holla on Summer Madness 7. His 2nd straight Summer Madness headlining SM, which is, that's incredible and speaks for itself as well, the back-to-back headline SM. But I will say, the result of this battle is not as fortunate as what we've seen up to this point, where we have the one loss I have, you could really score in his favor. I know there's some people that probably have Roc 4-0 after those first 4 SMs, but this is the first undebatable loss that Roc took on SM. In Vegas was a weird SM all the way around, up there for one of the worst SMs of all time. Another video that will be coming your way, so I don't want to say exactly what anything is, but little hint, obviously SM is always considered one of the more lackluster SMs. SM7 is. And versus Hitman, I think Roc was decent in this battle. The cinnamon sticks, I thought that was pretty dope. And overall, punches at a pretty okay rate, but it really feels like Hitman kind of levels up on him. While Roc's energy is there, you can even see after the second the confidence isn't as much. And one thing about Hitman that I think he proves here, proved versus Shine the year before on SM6, is he is the best performer of all time. As Roc, just like Shine, is one of the best performers, one of the best energy guys of all time. And Hitman is able to match that. Smoke Roc through the glass. I'm a dope fiend. I think Roc off the glass, all-star game. Overall, a lot of hooks. This, I believe, Showout even jumps in, just outperforms him all 3. And even though I think Roc is a little slept on, he is pretty sound bar for bar here. Even in a loss, you never really get a terrible Tay-Roc.
What you gonna miss to clean your way out of this one? The mask on. Let's see Halloween is way out of this one. I'm popping the trunk.
But Hitman is able to write on that level and bring a little more energy, get the crowd on his side, and looked way more confident. I had Hitman Gentleman's 30 this battle. I believe that it is possibly, is it the first or the third? I think there is one round in there that you might be able to go give to Roc, but for me, I just can't, find myself giving any of the rounds to Roc. So giving him his first clear loss on SM, I did have Hitman 3-0 over Tay-Roc, which at this point, post SM7 would leave Tay-Roc's SM record in this video at 3-2. And that leads us into the last singles battle to cover in this video. And the last one that I genuinely count very much. Like I said, I will do a little going over here after this, going over Summer Impact. But 2-on-2s, for me, just don't move the needle that much. A lot of other things could be your teammate messing up, some preference. Considered more of an exhibition battle all the way around most of the time. But SM8 rolls around, like I said, his last singles battle, and they go overseas, smacked, and takes URL to London, and we see Tay-Roc versus Pat Stay on Summer Madness 8. And as you see, this level of comp here, man, the Ill Will and DNA, who are obviously legends, and you go Calico, Hollow, Hitman, Pat Stay. That is not easy, and we're also talking about 6 consecutive Summer Madnesses versus comp of this nature. There's a reason Tay-Roc is held in the high regard he is, but for this battle, something right off rip that is different from any other Tay-Roc battle is that Roc does choke this battle. He chokes in the 3rd round after a very good Wayne Rooney hit performance haymaker that gets the crowd on his side, just gets a little lost up, and you could tell how mad he was at himself, and chokes in the 3rd round versus Pat. So obviously the first is already a pop-up. The third, is already, right there to Pat. And then as for the first round, Roc clearly takes the first, while Pat has a smooth round, a lot of smooth rapping, and some of the finesse that Pat has. The Kamehameha bar.
Y'all gonna hear something fire, like this track I just made a banger. I take a razor, cut through his bone till I break his finger, run his head through a wall, look like I'm doing a Kamehameha. What?
Pat, stay alive. All of the performance here, he has just the jam-packed chain haymakers that few battlers can get on that run, and Rock is one of them, where they start chaining haymakers together. And when you get on a roll like that, crowd's on his side, the bars check on the paper test, it's just hard. So Rock took the first clear, chokes in the third, and it comes down to the second. And I know there's some Rock fans that try to give Rock the second in this battle, and he does have a very good second, also has some haymakers in there and brings the energy, but Pat is able to execute the almost fight angle to perfection, baiting Rock into almost fighting him, and mid-angle delivering it, and then flipping that to the crowd. I believe he did a freestyle, talk about their kids. I don't like to get into the, you know what I'm saying, get into that per se, because I know that it does mirror, and I can understand why Rock was frustrated at the time, but considering the cloud that was hanging over his head with almost fighting, and then almost fighting in this second round, just fully proves Pat's point. So even though the second, he gets a little bit weird, he's like a nightstick license and registration bar in there, which even the crowd looked at a little weird, but the freestyle, the freestyles that he exhibits in this round, and then obviously the extremely perfectly executed angle, I had no choice but to give Pat Stay the second round clear. So even though it's a much better outing than his Hitman outing, I do have this as a clear loss for Tay-Rock. I have Pat Stay taking the second and third clear of this battle in a very good battle. Not too much to hang over Rock's head, as his first two rounds are incredible. And if he doesn't choke in the third, I think this is much different. We might be talking about a Rock win, but sadly, that's not the timeline we live in. So as I said, I had Pat Stay taking the second and third round, bringing Tay-Rock's Summer Madness record regarding singles battles to a very even 3-3. And that is it covering these singles matches. As for Loaded Hollows versus Guns and Cakes, I'm not going to lie, I did have Guns and Cakes taking the first and second round. Now, I don't personally count that towards the battle record, and I'm not going to give too much of a breakdown, as you can see by the way I introduced it. But Hollow and Lux, I was able to see that event live in the way, first event that I was ever able to go to, very young at the time, and was still mesmerized by the battle in person, and the whole event itself. But like I said, 2-on-2s in the overall grand scheme of the career, even if they're high impact, they just don't mean too much to me on the competitive level. But if you, I guess you could say that I score it 4-3 on his battle record on SM towards Rock, if you wanted to hear my opinion there on the 2-on-2 battle. So I do have him as a positive record, but just for singles battles, I think he is a dead even 3-3. The cow battle obviously can go either way, so I'm not mad at 4-2, but I do believe that Hitman and Pat Stay were just clear losses. I know there's a few people that give Hollow the battle. Maybe it's one of my more hot takes that I have on this channel, and a few people think it's a hot take when I tell them. I could do a bar for bar, so if you guys are interested in a flashback review for Hollow versus Tay-Rock, I wouldn't be mad at doing that. Definitely a battle that I have some strong opinions on, but I do think Rock comfortably got that battle 2-1. So 3-3 for my record. Like I said, I'd accept 4-2, but when you take in the elite amount of comp, Ill Will, DNA, Calico, Hollow, Hitman, Pat Stay, these are all names that hold very much weight in the culture. And even out of 3-3 record, I cannot pick out one bad performance here. The Hitman battle is the closest to that, and even then, I think it ages a little better for Rock. I think people missed a little bit of his material in the building, which was a problem with SM7 all night. Even though I think Hitman still showed levels, I can't say that Rock just came in there and was bad, and that's the story of Rock's career. Mr. Consistent couldn't be debated as one of the most consistent battlers of all time. And we'll see as SM12 comes. Hopefully I'll be, and I should be in the building in Charlotte for that as well. He has Swamp. So where will that go? Will that go in the loss column or the win column? Me personally, I do have him predicted to win that battle. When I get my predictions videos, I'll get a little more detailed on my predictions for that. But I do see that going in the win column, but we'll see. Will it knock him over? I have it at 3-3 into the negative zone, or will it knock him over into the positive percentage? But overall, I had a lot of fun doing this. For any other battlers that come out with extensive resumes that are on the SM card, I would love to do a few more of these for a couple battlers that pop up. And you guys let me know down below, What is your record for Rock? Looking at these battles, can you just tell me off rip on a number what you have it at? If you think I'm tripping on a loss that I called clear or a win that I called clear, let me know down below. And also like and subscribe. Plan on doing a lot of SM content like this, and I just love battle rap, and for SM to be coming up similar to Gnome, the excitement for the 2 to 3 weeks of announcements up there leading up to the event is just as exciting as the event for me. But like I said, let me know who else you would like to see an SM battle record on, and I have more content coming your way, guys. But it's been J Smo Reviews here again, and I'm gonna catch you on the next one. Peace.